Commencement, the beginning of a new era in higher education by Kate Colbert and Joe Salustio with contributions by Elvin Freites is now available for pre-order on Amazon. Get your Kindle edition or your softbound book. It's going to be
amazing.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. On this special EdUp catch-up episode, I would do a big dance and self-promote, but I'm not going to do any of that right now because we have a very important announcement to make, and I have two very important guests with me. We're going to jump right in with them. Here they are again, ladies and gentlemen, for the second time. I have Mary Laphen, Pope Strategy Officer for Participation, and Shauna Davis, Strategy Director at the Lumina Foundation. Ladies, welcome back to the EdUp Experience podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Well, you guys, the last time you were here, you came to talk about the Community College $1 Million Challenge. And that's a lot of money, $1 million. Remind us, for those that didn't catch that episode, which I can't imagine who on earth wouldn't have listened to that news about $1 million. But if for somebody didn't hear about the $1 Million Challenge, Shauna, I'll start with you. What was the $1 Million Challenge for community colleges all about? And why did the Lumina Foundation sponsor this?
Absolutely. So the $1 Million Community College Challenge is a national grant competition, and it was designed to support brand building and marketing efforts at America's community colleges, really with the idea of helping community colleges tell their stories and reach out to those millions of Americans who could benefit from a credential post-high school.
And Mary, so part of this challenge was, how do we get the message out about community colleges, right? Why is that important now? Why is that something of merit for the Lumina Foundation to get involved with?
Yes, I think it's important for a couple of different reasons. One is that we know that now more than ever, community colleges need a new way to connect with the millions of Americans who need a short-term credential or a college degree. We know that the college going rates are going down. This is not new with COVID. It was definitely exacerbated. But it's something that we've been paying attention to, and we're looking for, like you said, those new ways to connect with the communities and with our adult learners in particular, because we know that a third of community college students are between the ages of 22 and 40. And so those are really the students that we're looking for and hoping to engage.
Amazing.
Which, of course, I have been following you guys closely. I saw a video online of the finalists. You got down to 10 finalists, and you have a winner, I believe, that you are here to announce or re-announce, let's put it that way. And we're going to turn around. We're going to publish this podcast literally as soon as we're done recording. We're going to put it out there so people can get it today. So it's going to be almost as real time as it could possibly be with just a little bit of production time. So Shauna, Mary, who won?
Well, let me say this, that we had 10 amazing colleges that were selected as our finalists out of hundreds of amazing colleges that applied. So we had 10 amazing colleges. We could only pick one to be our $1 million winner, although those 10 do not walk away empty-handed. 9 of them received $100,000 grants in technical assistance, but one college was able to receive $1 million. And that college—
Wait, that was a huge buildup.
Yeah.
You're getting us already.
You ready? That college is Madera Community College.
Madera Community College. Madera Community College in California. And
Yes.
A California community college. I think they were one of the more recent California community colleges, in fact, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tell me why, how, what? I mean, I have so many questions I can't even get them out. Mary, I'll start with you. Why Madera Community College? What did they do to kind of take that step above and win this $1 million?
Yeah, so as Shauna said, it was a tough decision. We had 10 excellent finalists. I would say they stood out in a couple ways. One, they submitted a really It was a simple, but it was a compelling and powerful video that really stated their promise to adult students. When we talk about that promise, it's that sense of belonging on campus. And we saw that promise really woven throughout the entire application process. So from that first application all the way through to the video, and that was something that was really compelling for us. We also saw the sense that the whole college was going to own this space, that they didn't see it as one person owning the brand of the college, owning that sense of belonging for students. And that was something that was really interesting to us. And we're looking forward to seeing what they do.
You know, and Shauna, you guys have been, I can't even remember when we interviewed you about this in the first time, must have been months ago.
Yeah.
So you've been like the champions, you and Mary, of this whole time. There's been so much activity, engagement, questions, feedback, biting fingernails. And now it's come and it's finished and you've announced it. How do you guys feel, Shauna? How do you feel now to be able to say you've won? Here's $1 million, and how does it feel to be able to distribute something like that to a community college?
Well, it feels amazing because we actually gave $1.9 million worth of grants.
Yeah, there you go.
I have to go back to that. And all 10 of those colleges, we're not just giving them money and walking away. There's more. It's actually not over. This was the big announcement, but they all are receiving their grants, and then they're getting started. Some as early, as next week. They're getting started with their kickoff calls, and they'll be doing technical assistance, meeting. We have consultants, some amazing consultants that are going to work with them and help them to really, put their best visions forward and develop strategies that are, that are long lasting. Now, remember, our intent was never to give someone a large amount of money for one-time commercials or one-time marketing efforts. We really wanted to invest in community colleges so that they could, really focus on their brand building and think about what that brand strategy is over the long term. So that's really our goal. And there's a lot more that's actually coming out of this besides the great announcement that we're making today.
Well, you guys are, I've never seen Smile so big, just for the record. The two of you guys being able to do something like this must feel like a big moment in your, the legacy of your higher ed careers, to be able to say, I was leading this and I was involved in this, and that's so huge. And for the 10 finalists to have been selected amongst their peers, whether they're Madera Community College or one of the finalists, a humongous accomplishment. I mean, for the faculty, for the staff, for everybody that worked to show off those colleges, that's a marketing boost in its own, being a finalist. It is a huge marketing boost. Mary, where do colleges go from here? Where do these 10 finalists go? Should this be a huge source of pride for them to go say, you know what, we do have a strong brand. Now it's time for us to go and tell everybody about it a little bit stronger than we were before.
Oh, absolutely. And these 10 colleges stood out amongst hundreds of applications. So just for that alone, I think is a huge deal. And then each of those videos, as Shauna said, was incredibly powerful. So sharing that. And then as Shauna mentioned, the story does not stop here. Those 10 finalists, or the 9 finalists, excuse me, will now be going through the technical assistance over the next year and really working to use that $100,000 to amplify their brand. And they all have some really exciting plans in mind for what that looks like, not only for their brand, but also for their students. And we're excited to see what that looks like. There's all these stats getting thrown around now. Shauna, back to you. 39 million Americans with some college, no degree. The importance of see that, guys? Sometimes on my own podcast, I can't get it out. Skill stacking, credentialing, micro-credentialing, a short course skill development so that I can go on to my next job. And community colleges play a huge and important role. And I know at the Lumina Foundation, there's a big goal in mind, which is to educate a certain percentage of the population, I think by 2025.
Yeah, 60% by 2025.
60 by 2025. This is a big part in that, isn't it? This is playing a part in that, kind of taking a chunk out of it from a monetary standpoint, but it's the movement behind it and the message behind it that I think is the bigger point.
Absolutely. And the bigger point is this: we know the great things that community colleges offer. We know they're accessible. We know that they have, affordable tuition, points. When you look at the greater landscape of higher ed, we know those sorts of things. But people in the community don't talk about higher education in that way. That's how we talk about higher education. And if you really look at what's really interesting, if you really kind of go into what Madera talked about in their videos, Mary said, we asked every college, what is your promise to adult students? They did not say one time that, we were open access and we had low tuition. They said, I'm going to tell you something, you're amazing. You can persevere. You can do this. You work hard.
Yes.
You're built for this. That's what they said. And that's what we really want to help colleges do. Take those great things, the low cost, the accessibility, those things are wonderful, benefits and features to have for college. We want them to also connect on a personal level with their communities so that, these adults and these folks who say, you know what, maybe I'll go back to school and finish what I started, or maybe I've never gone and I'm going to give it a try. Like, we want, to really lean in and so they can see themselves there, and that we're speaking to them in a way that kind of speaks to the heart and the vulnerability and the opportunity that goes into, going to school as an adult.
You said something so important.
Attention.
That's my attention button where I bring everybody center. I center my whole audience.
Attention.
Relationships, the trust between the student and the institution. It's a marketing gets a message out. When you're able to get that message out and you build that trust and that confidence, the student is more likely to retain. And it's a lack of retention that is put us higher ed in this space of having all of these adult students that have some college, no degree. And it's our economy now that's killing us, and it's making a lot of students consider what they need to do for the future. COVID, the really interesting point about Madera is that they essentially became a college during the COVID stage. Mary, over to you. Was that a differentiating factor that they were able to kind of pivot quickly and move quickly to serve the adult population?
I wouldn't say it was a differentiating factor. I mean, I think it's certainly interesting, and it's certainly, something that we were eager to learn more about. But like I said, it was their promise to adult students and how closely they held on to that throughout the entire process that really made them stand apart. I think
their video was great, like first shot of a student for a student, cut and edited by a student. Kind of talks to you about the culture there.
And the language that resonates with students. Yes.
Go ahead, Mary. I'm sorry I cut you off. I had a tendency to do that to my guests sometimes. Sorry.
No. You're fine. I mean, I think that, like you said, their video was just, it was, it hit, I think it hit in a very personal way for a lot of people, and not only their students, but also, us watching it on the other side of the country, quite frankly. And we got to see what it is like to be a student at Madera Community College and that sense of pride that they have. And I think that's something else that really made the college stand out. And, and I say to stand out, we saw that in all 10 videos, but it was just something with Madera that, really hit home, I'd say.
Okay, so I'm going to ask both of you to summarize this process for up to this point, which could be the beginning of the process. It's like you had this whole build up and the release of this announcement, now to actually start the important work of helping these community colleges get their message out with support of the Lumina Foundation. Mary, over to you first. What has this build up in this process so far meant to you and to the institutions that have been part of this process?
Wow, what a good and difficult question. I mean, I think to sum it up quickly, this has been an adventure from the beginning, and Shauna and I like to call it a journey, because we've really taken this journey with our community colleges. So we started with this idea, and something I was reflecting on earlier is that, we started with this idea from the parking lot to the classroom, and quickly we pivoted to, it was from the website to the parking lot to the classroom. This idea of brand and brand building and that student experience, I think, is something that is evergreen in higher ed, but there's always an opportunity to look at it a little bit differently. And that's what we're asking colleges to do, and specifically our community colleges. As Shauna said, they have such wonderful things to offer their community and have really shared some of those wonderful things, as she mentioned, the affordability and flexibility and open access. But through this process, we've really been able to kind of look under the hood and see even more of kind of those gems that are out there. We have some things coming in the next year that will really highlight some of those, I keep calling them gems because that's what it feels like. It's like we have just mined for these little nuggets across the country that now we get to share, with the field at large.
I'm glad you said that, because I think that when you get to do something like this, like what you guys have done, I do it in the EdUp experience a lot, where I talk to the leaders and I do get to pull back the hood on what they're doing a little bit. You find those gems and you go, some of the critical nature of those in and around higher education, where they say there is no innovation and there is no good ideas and everybody's going to die and fail. And it's like, you know what? I've got there's some pretty amazing leaders that I've interviewed doing innovative things that make me feel very hopeful about the future of higher education. But if you don't get that privilege really of being the one to pull back that hood, it's really hard to see. And it's a responsibility of ours. And I say ours because you guys are doing very similar work, to bring those moments, Shauna, to the forefront for community colleges to say, look at this. How could we not support these people who are supporting these adult students and impacting this community? So what has this meant to you, Shauna, this whole process, the lead up to the beginning, which is now to distribute those funds and have them work in the way that was intended? What has it meant to you?
It's been exciting. So yeah, I've kind of spent my higher ed career mostly working with community colleges at a college campus, then at a system office. So it's been exciting. There are things we can do this all day. I could stand on on a mountaintop and talk about how amazing community colleges are, but I'm so excited to be able to actually get resources in the hands of some amazing colleges so that they can, put in place their visions. Colleges, they have great ideas. What they don't always have are flexible funds in order to bring those ideas to life. So we're excited to play one small part in being able to help those colleges bring those great ideas to life. And we will be sharing those ideas. So I do want to say for your listeners, don't think that we gave colleges, $1.9 million in grants and that no one's going to know about anything. We're actually going to go feature these colleges. We're going to show you what they do so that other colleges can beg, borrow, and steal and learn from the great things that they do out there. Even their videos, take a look at them. They came up with those messages on their own. We didn't give any of the colleges money to produce their videos. So these are their ideas. These are their visions. And I think any college could look at how each college creatively, told the story, featured, their college and community. And there's a piece of that every college could do with what they have right now.
Epic.
It's truth. That is truth, right? You could feature your students in so many ways. Boy, I'm so excited for you guys. And I bet that, did you sleep? Have either of you slept like in the last couple of days? Because when you get close to announcing something this big, it's like, can I say it now? Can I get it out? I gotta wait. They got a gag order on me. Like, what are you guys gonna go crash tonight? What's the plan? Glass of wine, maybe?
No, we're planning the next steps and some really important announcements that we can't say just yet, but we are definitely have more coming for the community college field at large that we'll be announcing in the coming weeks.
Whoa. I don't know what else to say other than congratulations to the two of you for running an amazing process. Congratulations to all of the 10 selected colleges as finalists, and of course, Mary corrected me, the 9 finalists and 1 winner, Madera Community College in California. California's 116th community college, if you can believe it, and they became a college during COVID. And what an opportunity for them to implement their vision in a much more robust way. Thank you, and thanks to the support of the Lumina Foundation and the 2 ladies that I am interviewing today, Mary and Shauna, who have done an incredible job shepherding this process. And what an honor to have you both back on the day of the announcement, by the way, and the fact that you made time for me. We feel very lucky here, Elvin and I at the EdUp Experience, to help support the work that you're doing. We're going to get this sucker out as soon as humanly possible to the audience so you can hear all about the $1 Million Community College Challenge and who won and how it went and what happens next. And I'd imagine you can check the Lumina Foundation's website for all of that information coming soon. And don't forget to connect with Mary and Shauna. Blow up their LinkedIn pages. They want to know who you are, the work that you're doing. That's an important part of this is building connections so that we can support each other's work. Ladies, any last words? Mary, you go first. Anything else you want to say to the audience?
No, I would just kind of echo you, Joe, and please take a look at our website. As Shauna mentioned, we will have some new things coming along, but we also have those videos up there, and they are definitely worth a look. If you need to pick me up in the afternoon, that is a great way to do it. luminafoundation.org/challenge.
Shauna, last words
Yes.
too.
I just wanted to say, there's an amazing team at Lumina Foundation that does just great work across the board. So we're excited we get to be the face of this, but there are amazing colleagues who have put in just a lot of work behind bringing this to life. So we definitely want to make sure that we recognize that this is a foundation, a team family effort, and we're all very excited about what we've been able to accomplish so far, but it's not over. There's more work to be done, and as soon as we finish this interview, we're going to get back to work.
Well, spoken like a true leader, and it does take a village to support students, ladies and gentlemen, in all facets of what we do. There they are, Mary Laphen Pope, Strategy Officer, and Shauna Davis, Strategy Director at the Lumina Foundation. Ladies, thank you for coming on. You've just EdUp'd. Commencement, the beginning of a new era in higher education, by Kate Colbert and Joe Salustio, with contributions by Elvin Freites, is now available for pre-order on Amazon. Get your Kindle edition or your softbound book. It's going to be
Amazing.